I've not felt like building. I have been gathering so many materials and not making anything. But I think I finally have a good idea for what I'm going to do for this level and how I'm going to execute on it. So this section over here, this looks to me like a nice intertidal zone, like where you could go in here and get like a bunch of like shellfish or something like that. And there's going to be a village here. It's already on the coast, so why wouldn't they use that? So I'm going to first of all, I'm going to shape this slightly because I think it could be more visually interesting. We already have this like curve here, but I could. I'll figure out what I'm going to do with this. I'm then going to surround it with my best interpretation of like fishing tools, like not like fishing rods, but like the kind of thing that you would use to like dredge up clams or something. And then on the southern coast here, this is where I'm going to put the normal fishing stuff. So like fishing rods, little boats here and there. I picture they kind of just like, do a little circuit around here. And this is going to be like the inhabited zone. Whereas over here is going to be a bit more hostile. It's going to be rocky. There's going to be like tidal pools. And unfortunately, they lost the vote, so we don't have crabs in this game. But I'm going to put like, I don't know, spiders, I guess. Maybe I can call them crabs. And those will be like the first enemies. So that's going to introduce you to combat. Just for fun, I'm going to give the player some like Bane of Arthropods 1 like stick or something. Just like a really bad starter weapon, but spiders are mostly harmless, and if they're too much for armorless players, I could just make them weak. They're gonna have to come from like a spawner somewhere underground anyway. There's a few, I think, that way. And then finally, we get into what's going to be the rockiest part of this. It's going to be basically just a vertical rock shelf with a cave somewhere in the middle here, carved out by erosion. But getting there is going to be the introduction to platforming. It's just going to be some very simple jumps, kind of up and over and down through and all that. Until finally they get over here and they fight a boss. I don't know what that is yet. I do know I wanted to have at least some mechanics, but I'm kind of limited. Like for example, I could, I would love to have like an environment change, where maybe the player like douses it with water and it becomes weaker, but then like how do I do that without just hitting it with a splash potion of weakness? And how does the player not also get hit by that? So we're going to figure it out. In addition, we're also going to have to figure out how to keep players from just scaling the beach and going into the next area. Because the whole point of this is that you go through here, you do the tutorial, and then you get to come back to the village and go through here, which is going to be the entrance to the first proper level. I'm going to get to work shaping this and putting down some of the equipment if I can come up with anything. And once that's done, I might change gears and start working on the village, because this is just going to have to be built piece by piece. I do have designs in mind, but I'm not going to get into those until I actually start building. Oh, and I've realized that at this point I keep not having a proper intro, so welcome back to the Wayward Collective. That's the server this is, by the way. I've only said it like once. All right, that shape's a bit more fun, I think. So I realized that there was, the enclosed space could pretty easily be converted into sort of like a crab claw. What's better than one intertidal zone where you can get a bunch of shellfish? Two intertidal zones. Of course, I'm not treating this the most realistically. I mean, any sandy beach like this would move on its own. But also, I'm designing a video game in a video game, so we're not really doing realism. I did realize that I took out the spot where I was going to put the boats, so I decided to move things around slightly, and it resulted in this more tentacle-like shape. So I think these two on their own kind of make a crab claw. This one, like, if you look at them all together, it's sort of like the front of a cuttlefish. I think that works. All right, this is my solution to keeping players from getting out of bounds. Just a sand dune that's built up against what will be the cliffs here. So the way this is going to work is that they are going to run just like all along here, boxing in the village, making it so there's only one way into the rest of the island. And they'll continue as a backing or the beach up until here-ish, where I think, thanks to the rocks, most of this should be blocked. Oh, come on. I tapped out for a second to hit record and it started raining. So I built these baskets here, which I imagine you kind of, push through the sand and the water and shake it out to leave all the shellfish or whatever you would catch in there. Those are just kind of strewn about these two sections. Tent here, which is meant to have the full baskets, but I don't know how to display that yet, so I just put a barrel in there. These racks over here, which are just to hang things to dry. And finally over here, there are the fishing rods and the rafts, which just do little circuits out there if you need to go into deeper water to fish. There is kind of a blank spot here and on the other side where I think I'm going to try and design a tree. Specifically, I'm going to try and aim for a sugar palm. I'm not sure if that's going to come across visually, so I might have to do the more traditional, like very wide-leafed palm tree. Bit of a time jump here. I'm back from a convention and I am not doing well. But we still have work to do, so. Yesterday I was on the server getting ready to do one of my weekly updates, and we ended up in the parkour course. And I realized that at this point it's been quite a few weeks, and I just don't think anyone is going to beat it as is. So to make things easier, I am going to add a checkpoint, which will also hopefully be used in this base once I develop more levels. I just need to figure out how to keep a door locked using redstone and how to unlock it with a specific item. Oh, and also transport the key items to the right spots. All right, this is what I've come up with. The positions of these are going to have to move, but essentially what we have here is you go here, you take the checkpoint. I just need it short for gray wool. You take the checkpoint, you complete the jumps, and if you don't complete it, then you fall somewhere below, put an item in that will end up in this item elevator. That goes all the way up. It's this item filter, goes into the chest, which activates this comparator, which then opens this door. And that's open for about as long as it takes for this item to fall back out of the hopper, which is just determined by when the hopper locks again, which is how long these repeaters have. So take it. Whoops, I accidentally fell. Put it in. Run over here. And bam, that takes me all the way back up. So essentially, the checkpoint should always be here unless it's actively in someone's inventory, and they have to spend it in order to get back up. Except the specific location of this isn't really going to matter until I start building this in the course, because this is just going to have to be wherever is most accessible. And yeah, I feel like there's a better way to make a key, but I really couldn't think of one. So I've just been using the principles that I already know from building sorting systems. So, item elevator, item sorter, lots of repeaters, that sort of thing. All right, that didn't take too long. It was mostly about figuring out where to actually fit all the redstone. So you can see here, there's the dispenser. So you place the checkpoint in there, hit the button, that sends it into the hopper, which goes down into the dropper item elevator. That goes all the way up, comes over here, puts it into the item sorter, which then leaves it in the chest. The chest activates the door, and it also starts the timer for locking or unlocking rather this hopper, which then dispenses the item into here without anything in the chest. The door shuts again, but in that time the player should have gone from, well, I mean, all they have to do is go from here to here. It's really that simple, and that will at least allow them to bypass this first room, which seems to be the most madness inducing. I'm not even sure if I can do it right now. There we go. So there we go. All right. So, so you take the checkpoint pass out of here. You run and jump. You miss that. Go over here. Put this in. Hit the button. and come back up here. By the time you get around, the checkpoint path should be back in here, which means that you can just continue to make attempts at this specific spot. Hopefully, that will be all we need to bridge the gap, and finally, someone can win this. Admittedly, I've completed it, I think, 4 times. Once during testing, once to prove a point, and twice when we were messing around yesterday. Oh, wait. I forgot to label this. You know, actually, what am I doing? I could just take the checkpoint, go over here, get a sign. Oh yeah, I'm hiding all the resources behind the wall, by the way. I just didn't feel like moving them out of this room. Eventually, those will end up at my base. Oops! Well, I suppose it's probably reset. Yeah, hopefully that makes things a bit easier. A few people attempted my course after the checkpoint, and I got this footage of it in action.
Oh, don't eat that. Don't eat that. No, don't eat that. Come on. Sorry, Vito jumped on my desk just now.
My voice is only getting worse, so let's do this. So, I realized that the sugar palm idea wasn't going to work out because those are a bit too spiky to get across in Minecraft. But I did manage to get these mini melons, which, to me, at a distance, kind of make me think of coconuts. So, we are going to build a couple coconut trees. And those will provide some of the shade for this area. Plus, you know, it implies that the village actually gets like some more fruit. I don't know what all farming wise I'm gonna build over there. Yeah, I have essentially arrived at jungle and spruce as the foundation for the trees. Yeah, we're gonna need to find out how to get these to work visually. You know what? Before we do anything, let's actually just build the base of the tree. Shore it up around the middle here. Something like that. Like this. Okay. Kind of working. And we'll just do, generally you do want to go sparse with the leaves. Because high density of leaves does not seem visually more realistic. Even if it is at least more accurate in concept. How are we feeling about that? I guess let's just see. Do these work any better? Eh, kinda. I don't really like this color for the trees. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to check. Ooh. Well, yeah, and that's not gonna work because it's way too bright. Okay. Yeah, with trees this small, you can't really get much detail in. That feels approximately correct to me. So let's put up a few more of those and see how they look all together. There we go. I added 2 more with some slight variability. So this one, the trunk is slightly offset, and then for that one, it bows in the middle here. Just to keep things a little visually interesting. I do have 2 of these left that I think, well, I would like to acquire more, but regardless, I'm going to put those in the village itself as at a I don't know, fruit stand, restaurant, something like that. Alright, my brain is fried from a lack of oxygen due to convention sickness, so I'm just gonna do what I said I would do in a previous episode and do an ominous trial. So, can't do it here because there's no spawners in here, but we'll go down here. I know there's that room over there, this room over here. I believe there's another one beyond it that's like spiders or something. We'll just do these until it runs out, or I guess I'm looking for armor trims? I don't even know if you get those from ominous trials. I don't know. I need something to do. What's really messed up is there's one upstairs that's gonna be baby zombies. Oh, come on. Keep falling down. What am I got oozing. I heard it go. Do I get a key? Hey, there we go. That wasn't so bad. Problem is, This one. Nope. 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 I think since baby zombies get their own spawner, they shouldn't be able to spawn for other things. You gonna come over here? I'm just saying, look at the size of the swords compared to them. What the? Ooh, wait, free slime balls. I can use these in redstone. I really didn't think this would start becoming the redstone season. What with the parkour course and such. Oh, and the post office gimmicks. Did I get a slime head? Alright, what do we get? First time I've done this. Ooh. Oh, okay. So diamond block, a lot of emeralds in the flow banner pattern. Which I do actually want to put flow on my shield, I think. How long does this last? 26 minutes. Oh my god. You know, I should have gotten a smite sword. I mean, for this, but also just in general. Silverfish. Oh. I am also going to need a lot of wind charges. I've got a concept for a level where you glide through on wind charges. With an elytra, probably. I don't know if that's something you're going to have throughout the entire game. And so for that... Ooh, I'm going to ski. And so for that, you're going to need wind charges, obviously. Oh my god. My sinuses just cleared up a bit. I feel it, I'm almost free. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to do a nice, like, little, like, windy valley that you glide through. I've even got, like, kind of a song in mind for it as well. But yeah, I think no rockets, just wind charges, so you're forced to glide rather than fly. And there we go. I guess there's no reason to stop when I still have 20 minutes of ominous left. Woo! Yeah, to be honest, I'm not even wasting the durability on my shield. My armor's so good I can just recharge it. Ah, here we are. Hey! Another key. We're definitely going to keep the slime balls, because Lord knows how many sticky pistons I'm going to need to make. I do quite like the slime head. I don't want to make an NPC that has a slime head. Still not 100% how I'm going to do it. I think right now the best candidate is, unfortunately, armor stands. What else do I need? Mace core, I guess? I mean, 2 flow armor trims is good. I think the only one left with spawners is this kind of absurd room over here that's just entirely strays. I guess my only option is to go down. Yeah, I mean, not the best haul, not the worst. Oh, and since I haven't gone through, let's just break these. Not getting that music disc. I'm getting some neat pottery shards out of it. A whole diamond block, alright. Yeah, I guess there really isn't much left in here. Alright, well, that promise has been kept. I think next time, I'm going to try and at least finish the middle third of the beach, if not all of the remaining beach. Oh, and we're probably going to be fighting the dragon, so, you know, like, subscribe, all that.